And we are live with game 2 of the day featuring Smiley Face facing off against the Papis for a spot in the final stages of the European Challengers Cup. I am Sozo, once again joined by Merle, and after the last game, Merle, how you feeling?
Pretty good. I mean, the Poppies are one of the more well-known teams coming up from the Challenger Cup, consistently trying to climb the ladder. They unfortunately weren't able to get through relegations for the spring split of the SPL, but hopefully we'll see what happens next.
Last year,
looking strong.
Last year, I believe they got to the same point. They made it to the group stages. Unfortunately, fell just a tiny bit short. This time around, they're at the top of Group 2, so they have a little bit of a better chance coming in this time. But still, it's going to be a very, very big struggle, especially considering some of the teams that have managed to break their way into the last minute. So, all in all, should be an interesting match here, as Smiley Face will be their first major opponents, and this is somebody they've faced off with a few times before here. First band's coming out here with some fairly expected bands.
Yep. Once again, we're seeing the same four starting bands. This time a little bit swapped though. Ratatosker and Susanoo being banned out. Nobody really a fan of the hyper mobility of both of those assassins, and then Nemesis with the protection peel and Alquan with the execute. Definitely don't want to trifle with either of those as well. So just preventing consistently high rated junglers.
Too much shred or too much mobility with enough damage there. This is a recipe for disaster to deal with. So easier option here, but this does leave some fairly top tier picks on the line for both sides here. As once again, we're going to see Huyi and Raijin as the first two lock-ins, and a Cabrakan. It's a second pickup alongside Huyi.
Yep, Cabrakan really, ever since he was given those buffs, now that his 5% mitigation aura applies to himself, definitely feeling himself a little bit. He's climbed up in the ladder in terms of quality of play. Guaranteed mitigation definitely is superior strength of a lot of characters in this game, actually. Ravana has it as well, in addition to Bacchus, when he maintains that smashed status on his passive. So definitely provides a lot of utility and definitely a little bit more breathing room, as once again Awilix has been optioned, this time for Smiley Face.
Awilix and Athena, the first two pickups here. Athena seeing a very, very big resurgence this time around, it seems. I think you mentioned you were surprised to not really see Kepri come out last game as well, because
yeah, I
don't think we're going to see him at all this week.
I don't know that we are. I mean, Kepri's one of the more consistent characters in this game in terms of, defensive supports, but it definitely looks like people are opting for those aggressive styles. Sobek, Athena, Cabrakan, all definitely more of the aggressive style of support play. So definitely everybody trying to flex their muscles, give their team as much breathing room as possible to claw out a win, as every win matters here in the round-robin stages.
I believe the top two from each group move on to the next stage here, so not a lot of room for any kind of mistakes these times around here. And sometimes aggression is a great way to force the team to make some mistakes. They force them off their toes, and that's a really good way of just keeping these up here. So Athena, no special see start coming out in spades a lot more often here. Meanwhile, the next round of bans come through on her, and a quick Naja ban, as well as a Thor and Apollo ban away from both sides.
Yep, trying to ban out. I'm curious as to why they banned Apollo, knowing that the Poppies already have Huyi. Potentially thinking that they would option for the Apollo solo, go that double hunter strategy. Definitely a pain in the butt.
I'm expecting the Cabrakan actually to be the solo laner here, as Cabrakan, a very solid solo laner here, gets in the face of many of the important solo laners here. Most melees are going to have a very difficult time against him due to the ground and pound, preventing any kind of full engage here, and it's something we've seen Papis do in the past. Alex MC has played Cabrakan solo fairly consistently, so I'd imagine that's what they're going to go for with it here, especially now they've locked in Kumbhakarna.
Yeah, David Arnaiz does really like to play that Kumbhakarna, so definitely going to see Alex MC running that Cabrakan solo, as team has filled out for Smiley Face, picking up both Rama and Ravana. The eternal enemies here now working together for Smiley Face. Ravana, a bully, going to be relatively okay against Alex's Cabrakan. He's able to heal himself up with that 10-hand Shadow Fist and offer a decent amount of well. So definitely a big factor there. Rom, one of the more consistent hunters, not really relying on scaling so much. So able to pack just as much of a punch as on her, really, relying just on those on-hit effects.
I'd argue he's like Thor for like when it comes to AD carries. He's always going to have the consistency to him, always going to be an option in the back of your head, always going to have that extra bit of power, a slow. not going to have too many down points in his game. And all around, just a very solid pickup here. So definitely one that I'm happy to see them go for. And now Bastet, a very aggressive jungler coming out for the Papis.
Yep. Once again, the cat-based assassins being optioned by both teams here. Potentially looking for early Gold Furies here would be the Papis. Dalo able to run a Wrath if he really wanted to cement that early secure, but doesn't necessarily look like he'd be optioning for it given the amount of CC on the side of Smiley Face.
I'd imagine this is just for more of the early possible aggression here. The cats are very disruptive in team fights, especially early on in the game when the massive AoEs aren't shredding them in one shot. And it's a very good way of just body blocking out quite a few people. So I'd imagine that's more the reasoning for it. We could possibly see them look for an early Gold Fury, but all in all, I think it's just going to be more for that extra bit of boost early on.
Yeah, definitely just looking for the early aggression. Bastet really shines from levels 5 to 9 when she gets the first and second points into her ultimate, similar to Thanatos. So definitely a big factor here is going to be how well they play as they enter the mid phases of the game.
Well, we'll get to find out soon enough as we get ready to go into the game. Merle, any final thoughts as we move on?
One of the big things here is that once again, you've got a lot of CC coming out from the Papis here. It's not so much displacement this time as it is the stuns and the ability to take people out of the team fight with that banish coming out from the portal. So definitely a little bit more utility in terms of combo potential. That Mez from the Kumbhakarna definitely going to be a big factor in what plays they're going to be able to make, especially if they're able to interrupt Death Panther on the Athena. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that out going into this game.
Well, we'll get to find out soon enough. The game should be ready to go soon enough. So we're going to take a quick break to get everything set up and ready for you guys. We'll be right back with more action in the European Challengers Cup Week 5. And we are live with the action featuring Smiley Face and the Papis moving down the map to face off against their respective opponents here. I am Soza, joined by Merle in the action, and now things could be pretty intense here as we move towards some of the later games of the day.
Yep. Looking here, it appears that Alex MC going to be using that new passive on that Mark of the Vanguard. Lost its magical protection, but gained another 5 physical protection. So definitely going to be a big factor in addition to his passive mitigation. Going to be difficult to burst him down, and it looks like he's gone for a purple paw here. So he's going to be playing the aggressive game against Little Legends Ravana. Outside of that, pretty standard builds coming out from everybody else. Boomba's Mask, Soulstone, Watchers, and Throwing Dagger, all being optioned by the respective members of the teams. Doesn't look like any invades are coming out either. Just a single ward here to spot out potential rotations from the mid lane. So pretty basic start coming out.
Even with the aggression that we've seen a lot of teams try to opt for in their picks here, I think we're going to see fairly orthodox builds and strategies come on through today because you don't want to lose too much here. You want to kind of rely on the safety. You want to really test the waters against your top weight opponents here. You've got time to figure this stuff out, so I think we're going to see a lot of teams just opt for these safer strategies consistently here.
Yeah, I think a lot of the things here is that people are going to be using tried and true strategies, relying on the gods that they know they can perform well with. Alex MC being definitely favoring that Cabrakan. David Arnaya is also very strong on that Kumbhakarna. We've seen Perilla play every now and again during the past weeks of open bracket, so definitely not unheard of to see this team comp for the Papis. Really just looking to get as many wins as possible here.
And every little early advantage counts here, especially in these first days here. As this is still round 1, we're doing 2 games at round 1 today, so every little thing counts today. And now Poppy is moving down the map here. I think we're going to see a pretty safe play. Where do you think the big breaking point for this game is? You said it last time, but for this game, what's it going to be?
I think for this game, it's really going to come down not so much relying on ward chi and that through space and time, but really going to come down to Dalo, his ability to have that presence of mind with the cats. Even sneaking an early Gold Fury definitely going to be a big factor here.
Yeah, probably going to be something I have to think about here. And what kind of opportunity are you going to look for, like, so you think that Gold Fury here is? We know how risky it can be to go for an Awilix Gold Fury here, and just one, well, not a Bastet Gold Fury here, and just one misstep from Smiley Face, or well, one important step from Smiley Face could actually spell an end to that very quickly, and a team wipe if they're not careful. What kind of timings will Papis want to look for that?
I think they're going to look for it probably around the 8-minute mark here into the game. Try and get just get some kind of kill in the duo lane, probably onto Death Panther. Cancel out the ability to get that interrupt with the taunt for the steal option, as Rom doesn't honestly have a lot of objective pressure outside of his autos. Using the ultimate certainly is an option, but it's not as reliable as the straight-up damage coming out from Anher's Desert Fury or something like Huyi's Sunbreaker. So
it's not the
definitely
big
factor.
steal tool we see other AD carries have, essentially.
Yeah.
Alright, that makes a lot of sense here. And now, on the flip side, what are Smiley Face going to opting to do to win this game?
Smiley Face, big option here, is probably going to be looking to focus out Warchi as much as possible. Through space and time already available, so not much they can do in terms of stopping the dropship potential, but being able to interrupt him from entering the portals. You do have the Mesmerize from Thunder's Crash, as well as the pluck potential from the Moonlight Charge and Gravity Surge combo from Samsa. So definitely an option, and there's not much really that they can do in terms of trying to get kill potential in the duo lane, thanks to the Mesmerize from Kumba, and there's not much they can do to counter Awilix on that Cabrakan, thanks to the high amount of damage reduction he has with that Mark the Vanguard and his 5% passive.
So unfortunately, this means it'll likely be a very, very slow game for the next, I'd argue, 5 to 10 minutes here. Not even with that many skirmishes here. So realistically, moving towards these buff camps here, where do you want to see the build start to move, honestly, Merle?
Really what I'd like to see here is Awilix to be looking to pressure out Dalo as much as possible. Being able to bait out the pounce, and then while they're trying to escape, punish them with the Gravity Surge. They're not going to have any degree of escape at that point other than popping cats. So being able to pressure out that. But meanwhile,
I gotta cut you off here. Yeah, big fight decision time, tagging 3 right there, but unfortunately, it looks like they're actually going to slip right at the back here. Just Jack getting picked up by Dalo, despite tearing on through things right there. The Papis kicking things off. So much for a boring game. They get first blood.
Yep, through space and time, tearing through 3 members. Just Jack taking a lot of damage there, and now the red buff going to be successfully stolen away here. Picked up by Warchi, so really looking strong so far. Now just 5 minutes into the game, we take a look. Just huge advantage, really. I mean, 600 gold doesn't seem like a lot, but in the hands of an experienced team like Papis, they can definitely exacerbate that.
The big question with these early first blood gold is who does that gold go on to? It's not so much the fact that you're ahead in team gold, it's who's ahead. And right now, that person who's ahead is Bastet. They've got the boots. What are they looking to maybe turn that item spot into? Could we see a Hearts here possibly, although unlikely? What would you want to see in a situation?
They've picked up a Morningstar, so it looks like they're going to be running for that Transcendence, expand their mana pool as much as possible, in addition to picking up a lot of base power. Bastet, one of the better gods in terms of scaling for assassins, really more ability based. So understanding that with that early kill, just going to go for the most aggressive build possible here for the Transcendence. Meanwhile, Brilla going to get focused out here. Going to fall to Samsa, but looks like Dalo's going to be able to escape as Just Jack's looking to find the kill onto him. Will it be successful? Catcall going to pop. Thunder Crash able to just get out with Taiko Drums. The taunt going to be successful, picking up Dalo, but everybody relatively low. Just Jack and Samsa forced to disengage. Zygox sitting at under half of his mana pool, not really able to fight into that. So really nothing else coming out of it outside of that pickup onto Dalo, which is pretty good considering he was able to pick up the first blood.
And picking off Perla as well is going to start getting a nice little advantage for Ziggogs here. Helps him be able to deal with some of the dueling who you can put out and start making those big rotations towards his team fights here. Also going to enable his support, Death Panther, to maybe rotate a little bit earlier, knowing his AD carry should be fairly safe in lane with a bit of extra money under his belt right now and an XP advantage over his counterpart.
Yeah, the XP advantage is definitely going to be the bigger factor here. Perla only now just hitting level 8. While Zygox almost level 9, so definitely a big factor when it comes to these upcoming engagements.
And like I said, I think the big thing will be the fact that Death Panther can now rotate a bit more freely and soundly of mind. even if his opponent chooses to stay in lane, he's not going to. His AD carry isn't going to suffer too much for it, just thanks to the fact that he's got that XP lead. With 2 assists from the looks of it here, as now Smiley Face looking to start cracking open their own jungle right here. Have plenty of non-buff camps available. Red should be spawning in the next minute or so, as now moved towards the 8-minute mark of the game. No sneaky Gold Fury just yet, but wards and the Papis preventing any kind of further lane side engagements in the duo lane.
Yep, we've got a 3-man grouping here at the mid camps. Mez coming out from David Arnaiz, and a lot of damage coming out from that unstable vortex. Going to fall down to that 9 Tills with a lot of bleed damage coming out there. Zygox and Death Panther rotating over, but not able to find anything, just cleaning up that Cats. So, early Gold Fury, not so much an option without Cat Call available, but David Arnaiz is certainly tanky enough at this point to soak up a lot of that potential damage.
Not to mention, Smiley Face have done a really good job just avoiding being in a situation where they can give the Papis an option for an early Gold Fury. Unless Papis are really good at sneaking something away instantly, which from what we've seen from Smiley Face, they've been running by the Gold Fury consistently enough whenever Dalo has been missing from the map, that they'd probably see it as it happens. It probably isn't something that's really reasonable for the Papis right now. So I don't think we're going to see an early Gold Fury in this game at all, and I don't think we're going to see one until a big team fight breaks out in the next probably 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, as F-Thought always says, there's the stuff after the stuff, just claiming what objectives you can in terms of priority. Gold Fury, definitely one of the bigger ones in the early stages of the game here. 2 sentry wards on the side of Smiley Face, able to get them some degree of security as the wards are running out for Papis. Ultimate unsuccessful on Samsa's side, unable to get that gravity surge off, so Perilla able to escape, knowing that that's down. Definitely going to be a big factor for this next engagement here.
And I want them to take advantage of those timers, knowing what abilities are down as often as they can here. Spell out these big wins in these fights, especially with so much objective golding on the line. You need to get some kind of advantage here, and you need to start running away as best you can, because the longer this game drags out, the more chance you have of making that big key mistake. But so far, it looks like Samsa actually is mostly just keeping tabs on Dalo instead of going for anything.
Yeah, definitely understanding how much of a threat Perilla can be. I mean, he's one of those relatively late game hunters, but still offers a lot in that mid-game phase once he has about level 2 or 3 of that Mark of the Golden Crow, able to dish out a lot of bonus damage from it. Ultimate coming in from David Arnaiz, and
yeah,
the
that's
belly flop able
right
to
there.
secure it. Yeah, not much you can really do about that. Mez,
especially with
by
the Perilla combo following up as well.
Yeah,
even if he'd survived the belly slam, he had a Mark of the Golden Crow, plus a Ricochet coming in. He had a Sunbreaker available if the Papis really felt cruel enough to secure it. All in all, there wasn't too much. The question is, what can Papis get after this here? Looks like Perilla is mostly going to just go ahead and get his jungle camp and get a wave advantage on his counterpart here. So that'll be incredibly huge, and will make up for the 2 assists that Zygox got earlier on in the game.
Yep, definitely going to be relatively big here. Papis now just looking to secure the mid camps here. Take a look at the solo lane. Alex and Little Legend, relatively even. Little Legend here a little bit ahead in terms of XPs, level 13 to Alex's level 12. Definitely just flexing some muscle, understanding the matchup pretty well, knowing that he can't really fight into it early and then just stalling out here. So.
And so far, it's been a really solid job at that. Not much that can really just stop the Papis from taking these mid-camps either. And Smiley Face now down about 1,500 gold, but they don't seem to be feeling it that badly, all things considered. They're doing a good job of just staying away from most of these bad situations, aside from a blink Kumbhakarna out of nowhere. And now Death Panther actually finds a pretty nice pick here. Warchi could be in a ton of trouble. Through space and time, gives him enough CC immunity to get to safety. Portal out, seeing Little Legend coming in from the side as well. And Alex MC quickly falling behind, so Little Legend's just stopping to back off as best you can.
Yeah, good presence of mind from Warchi there, understanding that he's really the hot topic target, sitting 2 levels above just Jack in the mid lane. So definitely here as they potentially option for the gold tier. It looks like they're just looking to bait it at the moment here.
Yeah, they're trying to force Papis' answer, and Alex MC is going to be the one to take the bait. It seems knocked up right into a gravity surge. That's going to be the Awilix steroid pop, but now Samsa in a bad place with their leaps to the top, but he's right into Dalo's loving arms. Cats will finish him off before Athena can arrive to the scene, but Death Panther comes crashing down. Run with Alex MC will find the damage he needs, dashes on through, out the back, is using gold for the block, but now Dalo once again waiting, double for Dalo right there. Little Legend doing his best to slide around this fight, leaping about. He won't find Perilla just there, but he's still doing his best to look for one more shot. Gonna miss the root. Just Jack trying to slip out the backside of this fight, pulling the rest of the Papis apart as Dalo gets the unofficial triple right there. Now looking for whatever else he can. Little Legend a bit too tanky and a bit too threatening. Warchi in a lot of trouble right there. Gonna force away the bounce from Barilla as he's safe and sound for now. And Little Legend enough of a threat to dissuade Papis from any further play there.
Yep, potentially able to find a kill here, but the banish is successful, as well as the mez from David Arnaiz to save Warchi. So sitting relatively pretty, and Dalo now sitting 5-1 here, really just running away with the game at the moment.
Doing a good job of that, honestly, and it seems like Smiley Face really wanted the basement of the fight there, but unfortunately they took the bait. What happens next? And it just looked like they were a little bit underprepared for the fight that followed.
Yeah, a lot of poke coming out from both sides here, so Warchi forced to back, as well as Dalo and Perilla, not really able to find anything. David Arnaiz is really the only one who stuck around through all of that, as Alex MC ended up dying, so not really able to find the Gold Fury after that, but definitely being able to prepare and be aware that that's going to be the main spot of contention for these next few minutes as the game goes on.
And that very much should be where the main spot of contention is for this game. Dalo doing a job just keeping the pressure up quite constantly right now, sitting at 5-1-0 there. Almost has his Transcendence stacked up quite nicely as well, and he's looking for a little bit extra penetration on his next item as well. So Dalo's going to be a massive, massive monster for these next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yep, shortly he'll be able to finish that Jotun's Wrath, get the bonus cooldown reduction. That's going to play a big factor. Getting catcalled be a little bit more consistent here in the mid-game phase when Bastet really begins to shine. So definitely not something you want to trifle with.
And now the Smiley Face team is going to be in a lot of pressure here. They've got to hold out long enough here, but they can't just sit back and give Papis free reign of the map. And I think that we're going to not see any baits like they just attempted in that previous fight here. They're going to play a lot more safe, stick back to the style they were playing here, and I think that's a really good idea to go back to that stall kind of style they played before they attempted the Gold Fury bait.
Yeah, potentially looking for that Death Ball style that we saw being run last match. Definitely an option here. Not necessarily so much in terms of reliable sustain team-wide, but they do have a meditate still from the Ravana that will be able to provide some degree of sustain that will definitely be nice if they do try to siege here.
I'd like to see them a Death Ball in some tight corridors and just take advantage of the fact that Death Panther and Just Jack are going to combo insanely well. Throw Ziggogs in the mix as well, firing off a couple of his AoE slowing arrows, or just straight up go for his ultimate as well. And Smiley Face have a very devastating composition for fighting in these very tight jungle corridors and catching the Papis off guard completely here. So I want to see them keep up the vision game as they have been, and so far they have definitely not disappointed in the vision department. Things starting to fade a little bit now due to the fact that wards are starting to run out, but so far they've done a pretty decent job of just keeping track of Dalo and the rest of the Papis rotations through the ward game, and I like to see them just keep doing this so they can start taking advantage of it later.
Yeah, if we look at the amount of wards placed, both Alex and David sitting at 4 each now. Definitely climbing, so a good bit of ward contention, relatively even across both sides here. Sentries being placed, being spotted out as we see pings going out on the map, definitely understanding. Not really wanting to give them that breathing room that the Papis are so craving.
You can't really give them any kind of breathing room at all. If they get even a chance or a reprieve from Dalo's onslaught, that's going to give Smiley Face time to play that. Like I said, the delay game they wanted to earlier. If they can get Dalo out of his major strength phase, they're going to be able to start doing that Death Ball like they really want to. And now with Warchi maybe getting picked off in the mid lane here, that could be the big opportunity that Smiley Face wants.
Yep, Death Panther going to be using his ultimate, but Warchi able to just back, using that portal, giving himself the breathing room. Little Legend here looking as a fight is breaking out.
Break out quite hard there. Dalo going just beads away from the gravity surge that comes on through. So he's in time, about to train wreck through the lines there, but hits nobody at all. Just giving Warchi a slightly faster way back in the lane as there's only one portal available for him. And now we're seeing Smiley Face break off straight towards the Gold Fury, knowing some major cooldowns are down. This is a risky call, but a decent one. They know they can win the follow-up team fight here, but can they deal with the big ultimate there? We're going to see the great Rain of the Suns coming down here. Taiko Drums doing quite a bit of damage here. Warchi tagged in the back and taken almost down, but Just Jack in an even worse position here, but he will be able to dive out with the teleport. Now Little Legend doing what he can, just rain some death with the punches here, looking for that one-punch-man combo, and down he goes. Little Legend picks up Dalo. A quick shot from Ziggogs will force away the majority of Smiley Face right there, but it's a one-for-one trade at the end of the day, jungler for jungler, and the Papis still have to deal with the fact that Smiley Face really wants his Gold Fury, and they're going to put everything into the basket.
Yep. Ultimate's down for everybody on both sides, so really just coming down to the basic abilities here. No clear advantage for either team. Perilla taking a fair bit of poke, getting stuck in the shield wall damage from that taunt, as well as a couple of auto attacks from Zygox here, forced to back, but Gold Fury no longer an option as they once again disperse.
And there really wasn't a safe way forward. Little Legend had just enough sustain and health left they could keep going on to this fight here. And Papis could not, in any good safe mind, move forward to fight that. At the same time, we knew Just Jack was coming back around the corner as well. Had full mana since he backed off and escaped from that fight, actually. So that was going to be a lot of AoE damage Papis had to deal with in a very tight corridor once again. And that time around, I don't think they'd be able to make it their way through it. At the same time, Smiley Face couldn't afford to keep fighting, as the Papis did show up in force. If they committed fully to that engagement, they would have lost out on anything they would have won from that previous fight. So all in all, both sides picking the safest option, and that's retreat.
Yep, Poppy's still sitting at about a 2k gold advantage here. They've maintained it for about 4 minutes now as this game continues on. So definitely not really wanting to give any small advantage to Smiley Face. Gold Fury definitely would be a big swing for the enemy team.
Especially with the timing right now. If the Papis manage to get this Gold Fury here, that's going to be the game swinging in a very, very difficult way for Smiley Face here. Usually it's the second Gold Fury, but with how late Gold Fury survived this time, it's going to be the first one. Usually the second Gold Fury, where the team can secure that second Gold Fury in a row, they're in a great spot. This time around, if Papis get this first Gold Fury, they're going to be about 4,000 or 5,000 gold ahead, depending on how the team fight that will likely proceed or follow it goes down. So Smiley Face would be in a difficult, and I mean incredibly difficult position here if they lose this Gold Fury, or if they lose a team fight in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, definitely not wanting to give that up by any stretch of the imagination. Little Legend here taking a fair bit of poke, but able to heal up a decent amount of it with that 10-hand Shadow Fist as Death Panther unable to find Orchi, however, is able to force out the through space and time.
And that's going to be a really good option for Smiley Face here. It's going to be a ton of damage missing for the Papis here, especially since they're not going to get that boost in time on the several members we've seen them end fight before. They're trying to zone David Arnaz out, going straight for the party here. Tycho Jones coming on through, and Smiley Face will secure the Gold Fury, putting themselves to an even position here. Now the fight afterward breaks out. Little Legend dropping Death Panther in like a missile right there. Up in the air goes Ziggogs, and he falls to David Arnaz. But as long as the rest of Smiley Face can retreat, the Papis going to lose this trade here, losing Gold Fury, but getting one member.
Yep, gold difference now spiked. Only 800 difference split between the two teams. So really what comes next from this engagement could potentially make or break the rest of the game.
Could make or break the game, especially with a good taunt coming from Death Panther. They're buying Little Legend plenty of time as Samsa arrives around the corner. Little Legend still surviving despite being enduring the brunt of the full 4-man onslaught here. Samsa going into the portal here. Alex MC will secure the kill here. One still falling in favor of the Papis once again. And Papis just pulling off a lot of little things here and there to hold on to these team fights. And I don't quite think Smiley Face has the team they need to really follow through here. They're going to actually maybe catch out on Warji, but Warji portals away. Teleport in, should lock things down. Threshold slowing out Just Jack. Right about time now. Warji trying to get those cooldowns up over the top. Did go Little Legend with his ultimate there, but Warji already out of dodge.
Yep, good use of Portal's understanding and able to juke out that Percussive Storm. Huge amount of damage that could have been onto him, probably would have guaranteed his death. So nice juke shoes coming out from Warchi there, definitely understanding the threat that he was in, able to mount a successful escape as well as getting the ultimate from Little Legend in the process. He tried to chase
That's
him
a really nice trade there. So I want to see the Papis actually take advantage of that timer there. I don't think they will be, so all in all, not too much of a loss for Smiley Face. Mostly the fact that there's a lot of major cooldowns down on the side of Smiley Face right now. And they're just starting to come back up. Little Legend, the only one missing his, and Perilla, without the Sunbreaker, I don't really see too much of a team fight here, especially with how low Alex MC is on mana.
Yeah, not really much that they can do here. Alex MC super reliant on picking up that blue buff there, and even then, still gonna have to wait for his mana to tick back up here, as he's been relying on Tremors to clear the wave, instead just gonna opt to back rather than for anything. So.
Actually, he's going to be sticking around because I think he spotted somebody coming out. Did get pinged out as well. So Alex MC is going to stick around and clear out that wave. And I think he's got enough mana to actually Tremors his way through it. He should. Might lose a minute or two. No, he's going to look out there and just Tremors it down.
Yeah.
And Little Legend already backing off. So not losing out anything there at all.
Yeah, not really much. Just the fact that Little Legend's able to rotate, be a part of this team fight a little bit earlier than Alex would have hoped for.
Yeah, would have, but luckily for them, no team fight breaking out just yet here. Papis played quite defensive, knowing the Soul Inner would be MIA from the next fight if it happens here. David Arnaz mostly trying to lurk around to find these fights here. As honestly, I think we're going to see a bit of a reprieve for both sides until the next major objective here. Actually, we could see Alex MC get ganked under his tower since he is missing all his mana, and Samsa looks really hungry for some kills.
Yeah, definitely the option here, but Warchi rotating over going to guarantee that they can't engage under that tower. So definitely good presence of mind, good communication coming out from the Papis here.
I believe Samsa was standing on a ward for most of that.
Yes, Samsa has also been standing on a ward. They have a ward right currently just about where Warchi is, just spotting it out, definitely understanding the pressure. Miss 10-hand Shadow Fist as the lovely HP passive shield coming on. So now potentially looking to get a gank onto Little Legend, but instead looks like they're just going to begin the dance around the Fire Giant here. 23 minutes in.
I don't think you're going to see a Fire Giant kill just yet, but at the same time we could see that dance break out here. Samsa going to take the brunt of the initial poke of this fight here, but Warchi instead takes a huge burst of damage from just Jack there. Can't underestimate the damage that a Raijin is capable of putting out, so Smiley Face forcing a quick disengage from the Papis under their tower.
Yeah, both of them, both Warchi and Just Jack have relatively similar builds, but the Soulstone as well as his passive definitely playing out a little bit more in favor, as they're going to be able to burst down this tier 1 tower with no defensive response, definitely understanding that was a lost cause here.
And maybe the tier 2 is going to be a lost cause as well, but a great offer from Warchi, taking Samsa down to about half health there. Death Panther didn't fare too well either. Little Legend, the only one to escape without too much there, and he's gunning his way out of the tower. Now the Papis gunning straight for the action here. Looks like David Arnaz might try to go for an ultimate, but can't quite tag his way forward into anybody there. Root gonna miss as well. And now the tables have turned, it seems. Smiley Face might be getting their tower aggressed on, but they have a lot of ways of forcing off sieges here. And I don't think Papis can win the siege game here, especially since we're gonna see Death Panther go straight for the fight here, taunting out Perilla. Perilla forced to go skyward with that dive bomb. He's out of the action. Ziggogs survived the brunt of the damage despite being caught out by the uppercut and will return for the first kill of the fight here. Warchi gonna fall. Now Ziggogs gonna press forward just a little bit inside the middle of the Tremors, but just rolls away from that one now, forcing the Sanctuary out onto his counterpart right there. Ziggogs forcing a lot of action here, and Smiley Face gonna push through this team fight and win here.
Yep, Zygox as well as Little Legend now chasing after Dalo, unable to find the kill thanks to a successful pounce, but really just a very unfortunate fight there. Just Jack as well as Death Panther getting off very good taunts with both Taiko Drums and Beacon Found, and now going to pick up this second Gold Fury, which is definitely going to be a huge problem for the Papis here.
A massive problem for sure for the Papis, who just were in control of the game previously, and now starting to lose out quite handily. Smiley Face, and it seems a lot like the last thing we saw actually. Red team doing quite well, but all of a sudden blue team starts pulling out the death ball. Papis start struggling to deal with it, and that seems to be the same thing this time around.
Yeah, what it really seems like here is that there aren't the best engagements coming up from the Papis. Alex MC is usually able to get at least 1 or 2 people caught with his ultimate wall, but it's quickly bursted down as a pause coming through. Should be relatively short, so we'll just talk on through it. But in that last fight, I mean, his walls fell almost immediately. I mean, if we take a look here, has 4 out of the 5 levels into it, which means that it takes about 5 hits to burst down. But when you're talking about a character like Zygox, who just has so much attack speed, really easy to quickly just destroy that, guarantee the quick escapes for the team. And then Sunbreaker came out very late into that team fight, so more used for zoning rather than for the kill potential. I think they were really just relying on the damage from Alex and David to be able to clean up, but it didn't work out for them.
The damage just didn't seem to be there, unfortunately, but now we also have time to start taking a look towards the builds here. Most of them starting to become fully complete, and this is a Stonecutter sword on Awilix as well, Merle.
Yeah, both Stone Cutting Sword as well as Executioner definitely play a big factor into Awilix's gameplay. Really, what it comes down to when you're playing her, and I have played so much time on her as a Diamond player, is you're trying to maximize the damage potential of the Feather Step of her two. That flip deals 1.5 times your scaling on that third hit. So definitely getting as much protection peel off as you can, going to guarantee a lot of damage here. If we are able to look at the player damage, however, Awilix sitting relatively low on the table. Samsa just sitting above Death Panther and David Arnaiz as the supports. So we should see a spike come from this, but in comparison,
I think the item
he's got
was
a lot to
finished after the previous team fight, so we shouldn't see any spikes until like this next team fight, most likely. Like
yeah, this next team fight is where we're going to see a spike. Both the Stonecutter Sword and Executioner finished off. A lot of attack speed and a lot of power coming out for her. I'd like to see a Void Shield as well. Would help mitigate the damage coming out from Dalo as well as Perilla, in addition to buffing her own damage, considering that she has to be directly next to a target to deal that. Just stack up as much penetration as possible. Much protection reduction as possible, sorry.
At the same time, is there anything else that looks interesting to you on this side of the map right now? As we've got a few more builds. Actually, Robin being one of the most complete builds in the team right now.
Yeah, Robin currently sitting. All he has to do is replace the Death Toll. His build relatively understandable. Picking up the Pestilence to reduce whatever healing that they have on the side of the Papis. They do not have meditation, so that's really just cutting through their base regeneration, as well as the Wingblade. Definitely going to play against the Bastet. Going into the later phase of the game here, it would have been nice to see a Witchblade, but doesn't really look like it's necessary anymore now that Dalo's really entering that later stage where he's super reliant on Pen rather than just his base damage.
It's going to be interesting to see how this thing build up here. Looking at the 80 carries as well. Anything else you see build-wise that looks stand out?
The only real difference here is that we have Aussie picked up. Meanwhile, Samsa and the rest of Smiley Face able to burst down as a through space and time is off the mark here. Samsa, however, taking a fair bit of damage from that ricochet.
I think that was the second hit of that bounce that hit him right there. Now David Arnaiz going to start a fight of his own, but Warchi in the backside getting bursted by the Zigog's Athena combo right there. Raining in so much death there. They tried to make something happen, but at the same time, all they caught was the other members of the Papis here. A quick ult from Zigog should finish off David Arnaiz there, forcing him into his passive. He's got nowhere to run nor survive being asleep. Little Legend will pick up that kill, and Smiley Face running rampant right now full of 4,000 gold lead. They're just going to go straight for Fire Giant, it seems.
Yep, with 3 people down, Dalo and Perla definitely have the option to contest with the Sunbreaker. But if they're not able to pull off a steal, then this is really all for naught, and they're getting completely zoned out by Little Legend and Death Panther. Smiley Face able to secure it, now sitting 4.5k gold. Perla here going to be caught out, shell being popped to guarantee that whatever damage he can deal is very minimal. Just going to walk out of the Sunbreaker there, and
yeah, one of those last-minute desperation Sunbreakers, it looks like, trying to put a little bit of something down, maybe slow the advance, but I don't think it's going to slow them nearly enough here, especially in fact just aggressing right on the Phoenix, and it's just going to fall almost instantly.
Yeah. Now, as we said during that pause there, Stone Cutting Sword and Executioner are definitely going to provide a huge spike of damage. If we take a look now, Samsa is spiked up 3k damage, now sitting above the Bastet. Dalo is sitting below, so definitely a huge amount of damage coming out. Another fight is breaking out.
Another fight breaking out, this time, not tagging anybody right there, but gives Warchi an option back deep into the fight if he wants to go there. Just Jack, stuck inside the walls, they're knocked up by David Arnaiz, is going to land. Actually, no, Zigog's the one knocked up, and he's going to land safe and sound to the backside of the fight as the rest of the Papis forced to run all the way back to defend their team there. A huge set of trimmers right there, trying to buy some time here. Alex MC just going to do enough to save his team and give them an escape route, but at the cost of his own life, and looks like Little Legend going to give him one quick punch in the face to finish things off here, and Smiley Face get another tower as the siege just seems to never stop.
Yep, what was a relatively even game has in the past just about 2 minutes spiraled into an 8k gold lead. The pickup of an Alex followed by the tier 2 towers of both solo and mid lane, in addition to that Fire Giant, definitely playing out in spades for Smiley Face here. Papis definitely have to play the careful game now. Just look to defend, try and get a pick if they can. Just Jack they've been trying to focus him out the whole game, and they've been able to do it pretty successfully, but not until after he unloads his damage, so they really just have to look to disable him rather than try and kill him.
And the big question as well, since fact they're putting so much effort into Just Jack there, what are they going to do as Ziggogs just keeps raining terror in these fights? He and Little Legend sit at the top of the damage. I have to argue that Ziggogs has been one of the big defining factors for his team, going virtually untouched in most fights, or in the fights where he does get picked up a little bit, he's in the back of it, and there's not really enough follow-up as the Papis have enough forward pressure from not just Jack, also Little Legend as well. What can the Papis really do to answer the AD carry doing so much in these fights?
One of the big things that they've been able to do, Warchi taking a lot of poke here, going to feeds out the Confound through space and time, going to hit Little Legend, but not dealing really a lot of damage. But Zygote's been getting focused out. David Arnai is using the ultimate every time, but really all that's doing is saving him as the rest of the team takes the brunt of the damage coming from Just Jack. So instead, really should be looking to probably focus out Little Legend here. Just get him out of the team fight because he's doing so much.
So it looks like you want to say is get Little Legend out of the fight here and then answer with the kill on his Ziggogs, but instead, looks like they just want to start the fight off in full there. A quick pull in from the Awilix ultimate there. Gravity Surge though not leading to a death just yet. Ziggogs in a bit of an awkward spot there, does roll away to safety after landing from his ultimate there. David Arnaz knocked up one target, but it was somebody rather tanky and not much damage at all going on the way of Smiley Face. As Smiley Face just giving back much better than they're getting here, it seems. Dalo going to jump in, pop the cats there after his Phoenix has fallen. Might get Samsa, but Samsa is able to jump away on Suku. Smiley Face is going to keep the pressure going here. We're going to see Death Panther tossing people outside of the fountain here, but they need to back off for dear life. Too much regen potential for the Papis right here, and they can't keep the fight here. Smiley Face get away after taking the Phoenix here, and now hold an 11,000 gold lead at 30 minutes in.
Yeah, just spiraling out of control, able to take that inch and stretch it out into a mile, or should I say centimeter to kilometer, considering we are talking EU. Gold Fury now being picked up for Smiley Face as well, just continuing to exacerbate that lead as much as possible. Not really anything Papis can do here. Forced to just defend, sit and wait out, try and get whatever pick they can from a person out of position here. If we look at player damage here, oh, appears a pause has come through.
Yeah, this is going to be a fairly long one. It looks like it's still ongoing from what we've heard, so we're going to go ahead and cut to a quick break screen. Try to just zoom to the pause. It looks to be at least 7 minutes and counting, and we'll be right back as we fast forward through as much as we can. And returning through space and time, we are back after quickly fast forwarding through the majority of that pause here, and it looks like we should be back into things here. To recap, Papis now sit down 2 Phoenixes as their left Phoenix has respawned now, but sitting very low on health, and Smiley Face just returning victorious from a massive Fire Giant push, holding an 11,000 gold lead, despite how close this game was a lot earlier.
Yeah, for the most part, for the past about 23 minutes or so, it's been relatively even. Just one quick pick onto Alex, and they were able to turn the entire game around into their favor, and it was really just that one kill. I mean, for the most part, it's just been objective pressure. It spiraled. Yep. Even able to pick up a Gold Fury here, and now once again looking to just pressure here, potentially drop that solo lane side Phoenix once again.
They just want to get enough pressure here and put up a huge ward line, especially looking at the map right now. There's a massive line of wards here, and Papis have no way forward. We're seeing right now wards obliterated just for trying to walk forward a bit here, and Smiley Face know exactly where the Papis are going to come from towards this Fire Giant here. Dalo deep into the back of this fight, trying to burst down just Jack, but they have forced him away from the action, luckily. So Papis have time to breathe and rain some fire down on Smiley Face. And now Smiley Face need to look to regen a bit, have popped that meditation to keep themselves going, fine and dandy. Little Legend has rooted out Dalo could be in a ton of trouble, leaps away, and the Sunbreaker catches out quite a few, zoning enough, but well, everyone's going to walk around that towards the majority of the fight here. Ziggogs looking to rip down Perilla as Samsa finishes off his counterpart on the other side of the map. Now Alex MC running for dear life here. Samsa leaps over the top of the map, pincering in Perilla. Perilla dives away to the side, but will get picked off by Samsa nonetheless here. The Death Ball continues to push forward for Smiley Face here, and Papis have all but scattered to the winds now. 2 stand to the Phoenix. 1 has backed off, so they're now 3 strong here, but they're guaranteed to lose this mid-Phoenix here as Warchi falls. 2 left standing entirely now against a massive onslaught right at the Titan. This could be the end of things here. Just Jack getting pulled in by the Tremors, but knocked around by Samsa and friends here. On into David Arnaz and Alex MC, but Titan falling very, very fast. One more hit can do it. Papis will fall in game 2 of the day as Smiley Face takes their first victory.
Yeah, incredible play coming up from Smiley Face, just being able to exacerbate that single pick. Definitely showing good presence of mind in knowing exactly what objectives to pressure, taking down that tier 2, and then opting for that Fire Giant, giving themselves as much breathing room as possible and enough room to zone as possible. Definitely played out for them as a result.
And really, it just seems to be the story of the first 2 games of the Challengers Cup. The team that wins struggles a bit in the early game. Some good rotations came through from the Papis early on. A lot of quick picks here. Dalo was a monster early on with 5 kills, and after a certain point, Dalo just stopped getting kills, stopped finding the advantages. Smiley Face were able to group up, weren't really finding those ways in, and they just stalled at the game and turned themselves into a massive death ball, which begs the question, what team is going to have an answer to this death ball as we move through here? As that seems to be the winning strategy so far.
Yeah, definitely what it seems to be is people are definitely favoring that Raijin Athena combo, getting off multiple taunts, especially in those corridors of the jungle, as you said during the cast. Just being able to catch people where they don't really have any room to escape from that damage is a huge factor in what's causing these team fights. I think one of the big things that came down that led to the Poppy's defeat was that if you look at Morchi's scoreline, he was never able to get a kill. He was constantly being forced out of all of the team fights, hitting at 0-0, 0-3 and 6 over the course of a 33-minute game. Unfortunately, nothing really working for him there.
Mm-hmm. And that was a lot on Smiley Face doing a good job of just scattering people around here. They started fights off in a massive death ball, would wrecking ball their way into one of the lines of the Poppies here, and the Poppies would be a bit disorganized and scattered as things started. And by the time they'd group back together, Smiley Face was already just looking to dismantle from there. So it was unfortunate, but that was just a great play from one side as well. But we've got another game ready to go. So any final thoughts, Marl, before we move on to the next game of the day?
I think one of the big things here, I believe that the team that we're watching from this group is Smiley Face. So definitely going to be interesting to see if they can continue to use this strategy or if they're going to be looking to swap things up now that we've seen it been used twice so far.
Well, the question of the day will be, can somebody answer the death ball? We'll get to find out soon enough as we are ready for more action. Don't go into the Smite Games European Challenger Cup, brought to you by hi-rez Studios and Tier Monster. We'll be right back with 4 more games today.